Now, firstly, in the top stories that have made news this week, a social media frenzy has spread out between former presidential candidate on the NUP ticket, Bobi Wine, between him and the son to the president, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Now, this happens after the president's son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, posted a cartoon with the caption, "Me and my brother, Kabi, arguing over who can fill my father's shoes, thanks to the best artist in Uganda." And in this way, he was referring to the former presidential candidate, Bobi Wine. And this is how Bobi Wine responded to the lash out. He said that, "I am not your brother, and you shouldn't think that this country should be inherited as you might inherit your father's property." Now, in the other story that has made news within the week, prominent newspaper The Daily Monitor is under scrutiny and caution by city businessman Mr. Patrick Biteture for having published what he calls a fake and malicious story. Now, in this story by The Daily Monitor says that his business enterprise is to be auctioned and sold off for failure to pay back a loan that he was able to purchase from a company in South Africa known as Vantage Mezzanine. Now, this Mr. Biteture calls a total hoax, and it is completely false. However, he does not say no that he did actually get a loan from one of the companies in South Africa. Now, after making her case before the police, later on Sheba was able to hold a press conference where possible victims, public opinion victims, like seasoned journalist Andrew Mwenda and former Vice President, the Professor Gilbert Bukenya, were cleared of any possible offense. Now, while giving her interview, Sheba Karungi looked pretty emotional as she lashed out to journalists and social media in-laws. Take a look.
Tutya nnyo okwogera. Kyovola awe nayogera. Kyali kive nnyo. Mwenna ne mukifuulafula kimwayagala okukola ki. Ekyo kyennyini kitiisa omulala okukola ki okuvaayo. Kikyamu kyemukola.
Now, in the other story that has made news within the week, police spokesperson Mr. Fred Enanga has come out to commend popular musician Sheba Karungi for coming out to report her case to the police, where she claims she was assaulted by a yet-to-be-identified man who was in the company of SFC military personnel. Now, later on, Sheba was able to address the media, in which she was able to caution fellow journalists who keep on tarnishing the image of musicians, saying that they are seeking for news. She also came out to say that many artists are dying under the rubble because of stress.
Let's assume I was ripped. Nenkera ku macha. Ensija ne ngamba kamunanga bannayuganda bannange. Si bwe kiri? Bafaani bange. N'abatali. Naye abantu. Ne bw'otabafaani. Waliwo ebintu nga tebyetaaga kubafaani. Tubijjemu obwo obuntuntu bw'ekikazi, ennuguno y'ekikyala, biki tubijjemu. Waliwo ensonga ng'ebyo byonna mulina obbivaako. Obwo bulito competitions bwe mulina ng'ebyo byonna mulina obbisaawa ebbali kubanga mwenna kibakwatako. Leero kintuukako, enkya kituuka ku mwana we. Bwe kitatuuka ku mwana we, luli kituuka ku muganda we. Bwe kitatuuka ku muganda we, kijja tuuka ku maama we. Oyina abakyala mu bulamu bwo, eno ensonga ekukwatako.
Now, in a twist of events, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament has promised to refund the 1 million shillings that some of the members, a section of the members of Parliament, are against. Now, this 1 million shillings was agreed upon in a unanimous decision by all members of Parliament, whereby this 1 million would go to the former Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, the late Jacob Olanya's Education Foundation, which is meant to cater for the many children that were left behind after the former Speaker died and they were in his care. Now, in the wake of the controversial coffee deal, which made its way into the parliamentary premises, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, came out to recommend that this deal should be reviewed by the NEC members of the NRM committee. However, later on, it was presented before the floor of Parliament, whereby the MPs were able to lash it out and throw it out, saying that it's against the interests of many Ugandan farmers who are dealing in coffee. Now take a look at as some of the MPs give their opinion on the matter.
In this country, it is high time we define an investor. Somebody comes here with nothing. We give you land. We give you tax holidays. We give you water. We give you free electricity. We give you contingent liability to go and borrow. So, who is an investor in this case? Is Uganda the investor or those people? So, Honorable Chile, I would give you to that general. You need to now redefine who an investor in this country is.
Having a Uganda branded coffee was not a bad one. The intention to have expectation. Honorable Speaker, I need your protection. Honorable Speaker, I need your protection.
Now, in the turn of events within the week, the Human Rights Commission was able to pay a courtesy visit to the former presidential candidate in the 2006 polls and the 2011 polls on the FDC ticket, the Dr. Kizza Besigye, at his residence in Kasangati. Now, this came after the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament called upon the Attorney General to intervene because such acts were tarnishing the image of the nation to its partners internationally. Take a look.
So the properties of Uganda were now taken by whoever has power, and power is in one family. So they hold all power. You pay taxes, all the money goes in the taxes, very high taxes, but it does not come back to you. You can imagine the mockery that is going on about parish model, that they are taking money to the parishes. But where does all the money come from? All the money in Uganda comes from the parishes. All of it. No money comes from anywhere else except the parishes. My parish here. The money that is used now in Congo, in where, is from the parishes. The money they steal or the stealing has been going on is from the parishes.
Now, moving to the world of sport. Firstly, locally, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, was able to meet a delegation of sports investors at his home residence in Entebbe. Now, this delegation was led by the Honorable Moses Magogo, who's also the FUFA president. Now, one of the other prominent person who was part of this delegation is the Honorable Nachuala Chiyinji. Now, the Sports Pesa company, which is a big investor in Ugandan sport, was also in company of these two prominent people. Now, the president also took some time off to show us some of his skills before the cameras. Take a look. Now, moving to international sport, Everton Football Club in England was able to secure its safety in next season's Premier League competition. Now, this came after a 3-2 win over Crystal Palace at the Goodson Park. Now, in the other sports internationally, Frankfurt Football Club in Germany was able to secure its other European Cup after close to 50 years without a European trophy. Now, the Frankfurt players were able to take some time off to share their trophy with their joyous fans. Take a look. It's been a joy having you on this week's news round. Now, before I sign out, allow me to remind you to feel free to subscribe on our YouTube channel. There is Faraja Television on YouTube, Faraja Television on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, before I sign out, allow me to say this to you. Number one, as the week begins, make sure that you make use of every opportunity that you get on your hands, because it's your next step in what you're supposed to become in this life. Now, I hope to see you next time as we again come on this platform to enjoy the top stories that are making news within the week. Thank you. I am Isaac Wakalanga. Bye.